Another phrase that gets skipped over, and I found this one to be one of the coolest, was about the shepherds and the swaddling clothes. And that gets kind of skipped over, like, oh yeah, he was swaddled in clothes, like swaddling clothes, whatever. What's interesting, the phrase wrapped in swaddling clothes carries a fascinating meaning. In the translation of the Greek word, I'm not going to say it. It describes the bandages or strips of material used in wrapping the little legs of newborn lambs.
Oh.
Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
You'd see John the Baptist, call him the Lamb of God in John chapter 129, and I think verse 36 as well. And then in other places in the Bible, it says the Lamb of God.
It's wild, all the verbiage that you just kind of completely skip over sometimes.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is, Israel and like the relationship with God has always had so much symbolism. Like if you look into like the original language and try to dissect each, like the different words in its original writing, there is so much symbolism. There's symbolism in letters. There's symbolism in like the way that it's written.
Numerology.
There's just so much symbolism. And the symbolism of the swaddling clothes, of him being born in a cave that was often used by shepherds that would be guiding sheep. Lamb of God, that's just amazing. The symbolism that keeps coming up about Jesus being the lamb.
It's like biblical depth.
There's so much depth.
Yeah. We'll get ready for some more depth. In Luke chapter 2, verse 8, it says, "And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock at night." What's interesting is that very near to Bethlehem today, there's an ancient field called the Shepherd's Field, where shepherds used to abide and keep watch over their flock day and night. There's a long-held tradition that these particular shepherds bred and raised sheep that were to be offered as lambs without blemish for temple sacrifice, especially at the time of Passover.
Have you seen those entertaining videos where they're like the something iceberg? And like they'll go like and have different levels of the iceberg and it gets like deeper and deeper. Have you ever seen those?
No.
It's like a big trend. They'll be like it's basically like a lore thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's the surface level of the iceberg, and then as you get deeper, the iceberg gets bigger.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the Christmas iceberg.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's why I said this is such a cool episode. And it really excited me studying this because I was like, wow, there's so much I actually didn't know. But the Jewish historian Josephus wrote that every year, up to 260,000 lambs were sacrificed in the temple in Jerusalem during Passover.
Dang, that's a lot of lambs.
That's a lot of lambs. But so these shepherds could have very well been the shepherds that were specifically marked for the sacrificial lambs that saw this guiding light that visited Jesus when he was born. What's really cool, and when you read in Luke chapter 2, verse 12, it says, "And this shall be a sign unto you, and ye shall find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger." And the word sign in the Greek describes a sign to alert a viewer as to what he is seeing or what is being seen is authentic. And moreover, it means to document, verify, guarantee, or prove it. And the Greek word unto you means, in the Greek, literally means especially for you. So he's telling these shepherds who take care of the sheep that there is going to be a sign especially for you to know that this is Christ, the Lamb of God.
Wow.
And it was Jesus wrapped in swaddling clothes. That was the sign for them. Isn't that crazy?
I'm very thankful. And I brought this up with your dad before. I'm very thankful that God is merciful in giving us very clear signs in terms of like this sort of stuff. And then even like the documenting of it is a mercy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's very nice that he did that to the point where it's very almost hard to argue with.
Yeah. In Luke 2:17-18, the people who heard it, these shepherds, they had wondered or marveled at their words. And it's like, because these shepherds ran around probably saying, as their job was probably to watch over these sacrificial lambs. So these guys knew what they were doing. They knew the law. They weren't just some Joe Schmo shepherd.
Right.
And they're saying, we've actually found the real Lamb of God.
That's wild.
Isn't that cool? That's just, that blew me away. I was like, what?
That's
blew
really
me away.
cool.
So the shepherds did see him when he was a newborn.